Hi, and welcome to my living room. Today we are going to look at this lady here. This is my Phalaenopsis Summer Love fragrant. She is a little fragrant, but not as fragrant as, well, she's not fragrant enough to have a name fragrant. Let's just put it that way, in my opinion. Now, I've had her since March of 2022. It is currently November of 2023. She's been in this Leca setup here, self-watering, since April of 2022. I transitioned her once she started growing roots. She's not doing very well in there. She's only grown 2 leaves, and those leaves, as you can see, they don't look too good. Her first spike with me was a poor spiking. This is a poor spiking, so I want to take her out. I want to see what's going on in the pot, and depending on what I see, I might change her setup. So let me get her down, get her on the table. Let's see what's going on in the pot. So the issue with this one is she is growing. This is her second spike. My problem is, do you see these beautiful roots? They're not moving, they're stubby. They start and then they just stop. I've tried microfiber, I've tried moss, I've tried everything, and they just won't go down. So I want to see what's in this pot, and then from there I'll determine whether I'll just set her back into the same setup, maybe a little deeper. And let me be mindful, okay, the new root is on that side, so I will pour it out this way. All right, so pretty much the same amount of roots she went in with, she now has. Let's see. Yep, we've got a couple of desiccated, not as many as I was expecting in there though, but that's not a very good root system for a year, almost 2 years. Like I said, it's November of 2023. She's been in here since April of 2022. It's almost 2024. So let me cut off the obvious roots that are gone, and just to kind of show you guys. So you can look at this root and tell, but it also looks slimy, and this velamen just comes right on off, and the root in the middle is definitely seen better days. And then this one, I'm just going to cut up to where the root is dead, because I am being a little more particular than I would normally be with a phal, because this is one of the novelty type phals, and I'm just going to cut this one at the kink here. Give me a second, we're almost done. Like I said, there's not that many, but this is about the same amount of roots that she went in with. So she's not growing her roots. And the roots, the new ones, like I said, are just stopping right here. Shoot, what do? Do I take off this bottom leaf so I can set her deeper into the media and get those roots to go down? What do you think? I think that's what I might have to do. Because if you look, she's got lots of root activity here, but most of those roots are there. And if I just don't want them to go aerial, but she has those 2 right here that I can get into the media. And then she's got this other one here. And it looks like these 2 little nubbins over here, these 2 right here, looks like they're trying to activate as well. Shoot, what do we do? What do we do? Let me talk about what I was thinking of putting her in. I was just trying to see if that was a bad root, but she's not going to go back into the Leca. So I have options. I did bring out 2 pots. These are both 5-inch pots, I believe. And she could technically sit in this one. Let's see, like so. But then I'd have the same problem where she's just not in deep enough. And then this one would kind of mimic what she's gotten used to, which is kind of a less airy, even though the Leca is airy, there's not air actually going through the pot. She can sit in there. Then, as I was setting up, I was thinking, I saw something, and a light bulb went off in my head. I said, well, what if, follow me now, what if I put her in this? Because this is where my Stanhopeia, that did not make it, was living. It's heavy moss, bark chips, airy, and the lighting that she would be under would be very similar to the lighting that she was getting on the edge of the shelf, because I would hang her on the curtain rod in front of the east-facing window, and then there's a Barina light over that. So I think this is what I'm going to do. And I am just going to reuse this because the Stanhopeia was only in this for a few weeks, so there's no damage done. And when I pulled her out, literally all the dead roots just came with it. It was all dry. Nothing broke off in there. When I take it out, if there are any dead roots or anything in there, I'll take those out. So let me set that up because I did not get another pot to pour this out in, and I'll be right back. I did take the liberty to go ahead and take most of the media out, and I will just show you. As you can see, it's just a lot of moss with some small bark chips, medium bark chips, and different sizes of perlite. All of this you can get at the Orchid Supply Store, and if you'd like to get 12% off, just use coupon code TRISH at checkout and get 12% off any order multiple times. Now this is the basket that I lined with the burlap. Again, I stole this idea kind of from Ken. He wraps his mounts, and Ken is the owner of the Orchid Supply Store. So my idea is to, let's see if we can get her in without any damage. Hold on, let's see. Let's get the spike around there, because I'm not going to cut the spike off. If the spike dies off because of this repot, that's okay. I'm okay with that. I know she's going to spike, but the more I look at her, the more I want to take this leaf off. So I am going to do that, even though it's a perfectly healthy leaf. I'm just going to split her down the center, and then carefully, not damaging any of her roots that she has coming down there, and take it off. Get between the root there. There we go. Don't think I got all of it off, but I got enough of it off. So now this one, because there's more roots, I'm just going to split it in half again. And I wasn't planning to film this, but if anyone else is having issues, because not everything grows into, or grows in, not into, but grows in the same media. Sometimes if something is not doing well for you, even though all the other types that you have of that particular genre of plant, in this case orchid, doing just fine in that setup, sometimes you have to change things up to see if it works a little bit better. But I just gently removed that out of the way, and then let's see if I can see, now I can get her in a little bit deeper. So that is kind of where I want her, kind of set back just a little bit, kind of center, not totally centered, but a little centered. And before I start filling her in, let me put some of my mycorrhizal fungi in there, because in Leca, you can't really use this because it flushes it out because there's so much flushing going on. So hopefully with this, that will encourage those roots to really get going. And the media is dry. I do prefer to work with my moss damp, but I'm not going to dampen it. I'm just going to roll with what I got here, and then I will give her a very, very good soaking once I'm done. So let me get this media in here, and hopefully those roots then will have somewhere to go. And as always, I'm going to start in the front of my orchid here, which technically this is the back, guys, because this grew into the Barina lights, but maybe then, since that, if I tilt her just a little bit, will encourage the, yes. What y'all think? Kind of tilt her forward just a little bit in the pot. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. Alrighty. And, okay, so all I'm going to do, because I'm going to fast forward through this part, but all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the media in my little basket lined with burlap. And then once, excuse me, once I get it to the top, I'll add a layer of bark, and then we will look at the end product. So I will be right back. So I'm almost done getting her in her pot, and I was sitting here. Don't ask me why the thought crossed my mind, but with Thanksgiving right around the corner here in the United States, It's at the end of November. That means that the Christmas tree is going to be put up, and the Christmas tree sits where this table full of orchids is. I have acquired a few more orchids than I had last year. I have no idea where I'm going to put them because right now my daughter, who I normally would use her room to put my overflow in, is staying with us while she is looking for a house. The condo that she was originally going to buy, she decided not to buy. I mean, I don't know what happened, but she decided not to go through with the deal. So she is still house hunting. So that room is out of question. I mean, I can put some in there. She's got some space. She already said I could put a few in there. But there's not enough space for the amount of orchids that need to be moved. So I have no idea where or how I am going to arrange my ladies. That will be interesting. So if you are new and want to see the madness and mayhem of how I'm going to move these orchids, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because it should be interesting this year. Every year I tend to accumulate a few more as you do. All right, so now I'm just putting bark, and again, it's just really heavy with perlite. It's a bark mix that I already had mixed up in my tub, and since it's used to a drier layer, if you will, with the Leca, I don't think it's going to affect those roots too much because I am covering them up. Normally, I would not recommend covering up roots that have not touched media yet, but as this media is dry and it was sitting on top of dry Leca, it's the same environment in my mind, at least. So we will have to watch the progress of this young lady here. And just as another little tip, and I'm sure you've heard it before, but I can attest to it is a tried and true method. Wait for your new roots to come in, because especially if you're going to take it from one type of environment, in this case I'm taking it from Leca to a moss and bark mixture, or before it was going from all moss to Leca. Do wait for new roots. It kind of helps if the existing roots do not do well in the new setup. You have those new roots as backup. So let me just move that and I will show you the end result. So she just has bark on the top and she is kind of set forward a little more than I'd like her to be. I might mess with her a little bit later and see if I can't get her to kind of go back a little bit, but at the end of the day, she's more centered than anything. I wanted her kind of leaning forward in there, but I guess over time she'll probably do that as she's, you know, growing out. I'm being very positive on this. I think this will work better for her than the Leca. Most of those root nubbins that she had are now touching media, so hopefully they'll go ahead and extend down in there, and we will see her progress a little bit better next season than she did the last 2 seasons. Hope you guys have a beautiful day.